Hey, welcome to my weekly Redfin live stream. My name is Jason Ferrier. I am a small town real estate investor and realtor here in central Ohio. And I'm in an area about 20 miles, 30 miles maybe outside of Columbus, Ohio, in the center of the state. And thanks for joining me today on this Saturday afternoon. I apologize. Usually I do these on uh, Thursdays or maybe Fridays when the Redfin report comes out. So every single week, Redfin releases an update that they put out about the national picture, what's happening. And it gives us an idea weekly rather than waiting for a month as to what's happening in the market. And so today, I usually do two things. I usually review the national picture and then I review the local picture here in Columbus and Central Ohio. And also, if you happen to be watching this either on the live or on the replay, and you want me to analyze a particular market, just comment below and let me know where you want me to analyze the data. So I had somebody chime in, and I'm probably going to butcher their name, but Isaac Momparasi. I don't know if that's right or not, but I know the first name's Isaac. Huh. Anyway, Isaac asked me to analyze Cleveland, Ohio. And so today I'll do Columbus and then I'll do Cleveland. And then at the end, I'll take any questions or anything anybody has to ask about the housing market. Um, and then I got a couple other things maybe we'll review too, depending on how time goes. But yeah, this week has been it's been crazy. As a real estate investor and as a landlord owning properties, there are things that happen and you have to kind of, shuffle things around and deal with them. And I have a building that I own where I have some short-term renters in the building. And we had an issue with the boiler system. It's a boiler heated system in the building. And so I had to go out there and take a look at the building, get a plumber out there to fix the boiler. Not fun and not cheap, and get heat on for people. The weird thing is that with boiler systems, they're either like on or not on, and there's some adjustment, but not a ton of adjustment. And so right now in the springtime, it's like, it could be cool at night, cool in the morning, then it warms up during the day in Ohio and a lot of other places. And then obviously gets cool again at night. So the temperature is kind of funky. And so, anyway, the point of all that is the boiler systems sometimes can be challenging. So I don't know if you own a boiler system or if you have experience with them, comment below, tell me your best tips for boiler systems. But yeah, it's definitely old school heat, but it's nice heat. It's warm and it's hypoallergenic because it doesn't blow, dust around. So that's good. But it's definitely like a on or off system, and it has water, right? It's carrying water throughout the pipe. So I had a pipe leak in somebody's unit, and it was a unit we just renovated. So had to get out there and shut off the unit, the boiler system, and then actually put individual space heaters in for people. Had to go out to Lowe's in the middle of the night and Walmart and buy a bunch of space heaters and put them in the unit. So that wasn't fun, but got the people taken care of, and that's what's important. All right, so let's get to the Redfin data, and we'll do that right now. All right. All right, hopefully everybody can see this. So this week's Redfin update is housing market update. Listing sales stumble as sellers and buyers take Easter break. So a lot of this is, they're saying a lot of some of this data and the slowdown, honestly, in pending sales has to do with Easter. And so the demand, being a little lower this week than it was last week, they're saying that's because of the Easter holiday. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I know I'm busy as a real estate agent, and Easter hasn't deterred anybody from anything around me. But I guess you have to have an excuse for everything, I suppose. Right. So, all right, we'll go through the article a little bit, and then we'll go through the leading indicators. So what sellers are doing. New listings of U.S. homes for sale rose 8.4% from a year earlier during the 4 weeks ending March 31st. That's the smallest increase in about 7 weeks. Year over year growth in new listings slowed because some sellers took a break over Easter, which fell a week earlier in 2024 than 2023. The slowdown is likely an Easter blip, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the selling data the next few weeks to confirm it's not the start of a larger trend. What buyers are doing. Home buyer demand was relatively soft this week too. Home tours were up 15% from the start of the year compared to a 21% increase at this time last year. And mortgage purchase applications were flat this week. Pending home sales fell 2.8% from a year ago. And they posted an unseasonal decline during the last week of March. Some would-be buyers took a break from touring offers, and I would think they say from touring homes and making offers over Easter, and others are shying away due to high housing costs. So I think more people are shying away, not because of Easter. I mean, I have not met a home buyer or a home seller for that matter, that when they are like, want to buy a home or they want to sell their home, they will put things on hold because of holidays. They actually it seems like they just ignore holidays. And that's fine. If you're a real estate agent or realtor, you know that you just work all the time. It doesn't matter. Eclipses, COVID, doesn't matter, right? You just go out there and do your job. So I don't think home buyers or house hunters and sellers are like stopping because of Easter. I just haven't seen that before. I've only been doing this like 7 years, 6 years, 6.5 years. So haven't seen that happen, but maybe this year was different. But no doubt pending sales are down still. And they're saying home buyer demand index is down too. And I'll show you some more detail on that with Google. I found some interesting data with Google that we'll go over in a minute. So what about prices? The median U.S. home sale price was $376,000, up 4.7% from a year earlier. Median monthly housing payments were just $13 shy of an all-time high hit last October when home prices were lower, but mortgage rates were nearing 8% versus just under 7% this week. However, and let me check Mortgage News Daily. Let's check and see what it says. Yeah, right now, 7.01. I think yesterday it was 7.09. So today, mortgage rates, 7.01%. But they're using, what are they using? They're using 7.07. I think. Let me look here. Let me just scroll down. No, they're using 6.79% in their calculation. So, you know, they're trying to remain optimistic, obviously. They don't want to say it's the all-time high the all-time high housing payments out there. They don't want to say that. So they're saying, hey, it's just $13 shy of the all-time high. So I guess that's lower, but basically an all-time high. Buyers may get a break on housing costs in the coming months, said Redfin economist Chen Zhao. Daily average mortgage rates rose this week because of some disappointing economic news. But if the upcoming job and inflation report shows that the economy is headed in the right direction, the Fed is likely to confirm they will cut interest rates in June, which would lower rates. Home price growth could soften as spring goes on if new listings regain the momentum we saw before Easter. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Do you think interest rates will drop this year? Do you think the Fed's going to cut? And even if they do or don't cut, do you think that rates will drop? I would argue that rates being in the 7% range is probably a good thing for the market, because if rates go down, then I imagine more demand will come back. And so this is something else, like I usually don't say this on the live or my videos, and just from a personal side, but like I personally have no skin in the game whether or not they go up or down. rates go up, demand, how that demand functions or how prices go. What I mean by that is you just have to adjust as a real estate professional, whether you're an investor or an agent. I mean, the goal is to help people buy, sell homes as an agent and, be a shepherd to guide them through the process, right? So regardless of what happens with interest rates, regardless of what happens in the market, you just have to adapt and continue to help people. And I think if you do that, life's good. And as an investor, same thing, right? Like I heard somebody this morning. I watched a video from Real Estate Mindset, and he's good for entertainment purposes, certainly. And Travis on Real Estate Mindset said that he touts the narrative that, hey, if interest rates drop, tons of inventory is going to hit the market because people are going to sell their homes. But what's strange is that if those people all flood the market with inventory, they have to go somewhere, right? Like if I put my house up for sale, I have to have a plan to go somewhere. So I'm either going to rent a house or an apartment, or I'm going to buy another house. Either way, I take supply from some area of the market, right? So if a ton of inventory hits the market at one time, those people have to go somewhere. They're going to buy another home probably. And if interest rates drop to the point that they can buy another home and it makes sense, like let's pretend rates drop to 5% tomorrow. Well, if I wanted to sell because I already have like a 4% rate, let's say, and I'm like, well, okay, my next house I buy is now 5%. That's not too bad compared to 7, right? Now I'm motivated to sell. That's true. I'm going to put my home on the market, but now I'm going to look for another home, or I'm going to look for an apartment, I guess. So the narrative that like all this inventory is going to hit the market and it's not going to be washed out by the people selling is strange to me. That's just strange. It's like hopes, wishes, and dreams. And so I don't operate on hopes, wishes, and dreams. I operate on reality. So that's reality, right? So my point of that is, it doesn't matter what happens in the market. I have no real emotional tie to it. I'm just trying to report what's happening, and that's what I do on my channel. Normally, in my videos, my shorts, and certainly the lives. Anyway, so enough about me. Let's get back to the data. Let's go to the leading indicators, though. Let's do that. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 7.07%. We just saw it was 7.01. And again, 7% rates are probably good for the market because it's keeping a lot of demand maybe on the sideline. Like I'm working with at least 3 or 4 buyers right now. They're looking in the, affordable price ranges. So here in Columbus, in Central Ohio, affordable price range is about $200,000 or so, 200 to 250. It's what I would call affordable. Used to be able to get houses under 150. Like I remember just a few years ago, like right before, well, actually during the pandemic, right when the pandemic started, I mean, you could go out and find a house in Central Ohio for 150 grand. That was like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot ranch, move-in ready, just renovated. And that was easy to find. Now that's impossible. Now those are 225. So affordable being 200, still very tough. And I think if rates drop, then it's going to make it even more difficult. And so buyers are just in they're in a bind right now. I'm working with these buyers that are looking for affordable homes. They're all first-time home buyers, and they need something that is not destroyed. They need something that they can afford with the rates the way they are. And they also have to compete against other home buyers, right? So it's like a triple whammy. Now it's coming in a couple months, probably in July is the new rules with the NAR. So the NAR, National Association of Realtors, I'm sure everybody knows about this. There's a lawsuit that they had to settle, and they have proposed that they're making some changes so that they make the plaintiffs happy. That the law isn't in effect. It's not a rule that's in effect right now, but it's coming, and it's not a state law. It's not a national law from like a criminal standpoint. It's a National Association of Realtor law on how we operate. And the big change in this that nobody's talking about is the buyer side, because buyers are now going to have to do two things really. One, they're going to have to sign a buyer agreement when they before they even see a house. So before I show a house to somebody, a buyer has to sign a buyer agreement with me, explaining what's happening or what I can do for them, what my duties are, and what their responsibility is. So, like my responsibilities could be showing houses, negotiating for them, drawing up the contracts, typical stuff an agent does. But their responsibility is to make sure I'm compensated. So they're moving the fee, or my fee rather, as a buyer agent away from the selling agent, and the selling side, and the seller who's actually putting the house on the market, who traditionally pays my fee. They're moving that to the buyer side so that the buyers have to pay their own agent basically if they can't get that from the selling agent. Confused? I'm sure you are. I am too, honestly, and a lot of other people are. So we'll see what happens with the lawsuit. I haven't done anything like drastic yet. I haven't changed anything until it goes into effect, but it's coming probably. So typical fees, let's pretend they're 3% for a buyer agent. Maybe they're 2%. Heck, maybe they're 1%. But that's more money that a buyer is going to have to put up now. So you take a first-time home buyer who has to find a house that they can afford, that's not destroyed. They have to compete with cash buyers, with investors, with everybody else. Now they're going to have to put up more money to have an agent help them. And a lot of people may think, well, you don't need a real estate agent to buy a house. It's true, you don't. Like it's like anything else. You can do it all on your own. It's not, you don't have to have it. No, there's no law that says you have to have an agent. If you can do it on your own, you should. But there are a ton of things that can happen during the process that people don't think about. So that's my real estate preach or speech today, I guess. Anyway, it's a sad situation because I don't see the overall fees going down. They may be distributed differently, but they kind of put the buyers in a bind right now. I mean, if you're buying like a $1 million house and you got to pay for an agent to help you find the house of your dreams on the beach, no problem. Those buyers are going to be fine. But it's the first time home buyer that's like, man, now I'm back even further. I got to pay for an agent because they have no idea how to buy a house, right? They don't know what happens. They don't have any experience doing it. Most people don't. They don't have time to fool with it. And there's a lot of hidden dangers in buying houses. There just is, right? So you have to you have to have a professional on your side, and you have to pay for that service. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But all right, that's what I have to say about rates. I think they need to stay high for a while to balance the market. All right, so let's scroll down here. We've got mortgage purchase applications. This is interesting. Essentially unchanged from a week earlier. So they're flat. Mortgage purchase applications are flat. I would say that's like a leading indicator of some demand, maybe because of Easter. I guess, again, I don't know mortgage professionals that take Easter off. So I don't know that has to do with Easter. Down 13% from last year, though. Wow. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. This is their like proprietary index, down 11% year over year, essentially unchanged from a month earlier. Touring activity up 15% from the start of the year because now it's spring instead of winter. But last year, it was up 21% from the start of the year. So I guess it's down, right? Down 6% year over year. Why they don't say that, I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Again, they blame Easter. Blame the Easter bunny. That's the problem. This is what I was going to show you guys. So Google searches for homes. This is really interesting. Down 4% from a month earlier. If you come, by the way, you can come to Redfin and look at the same report anytime you want. I clicked this for the first time today. I clicked Google Trends to find out what this did. And so this takes you to actual Google Trends, and you can look like down to your metro and see what cities are trending the highest for terms like homes for sale. Oh, it's not giving me the information. Oh, well, I won't bore you guys with that. Didn't work. Gotta like that on a live. Doesn't work. But you can click this Google Trends and actually look at what's happening in your metro from a Google search standpoint for homes. And you can actually look at like state by state And and you can look at time frames. You can say, I want to know over the last week, year, 2 years, 5 years, what the Google trend has been on searches. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool information. You should check it out. All right. 4 weeks ending March 31st, 2024. Let's go into the real indicators. Median sale price, 376,223, up 4.7% year over year. Unfortunately, prices continue to go up compared to last year, and they could soften, right? They were up like 5.1, I think, last week, year over year. Now they're 4.7. I personally think they're going to end anywhere from 3 to 5% higher than last year at the end of this year. I think that's where they'll end up. Locally in Columbus, I could see them going up double digits at the end of the year, unfortunately. And it's because of some big developments here in Central Ohio with Intel and other Amazon and some other big planned other construction projects that are actually underway right now. Median asking price, 404,925, 4.9% increase year over year. Yeah, so this continues to go up as well. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,700. Nice round number. Not a nice number, but a round number. 6.79%. That's 9.3% more than last year. But again, now the rates are 7.01 or over 7. So this rate, the mortgage payment right now is definitely a record high. It's got to be. It's got to be. Pending sales, 85,000 units pending in the 4 weeks. That's down 2.8%. And this is what I look at. Now you got new listings, 88,631, an increase of 8.4% year over year. So look at this. New listings are more than pending listings. So we're adding, theoretically, we're adding more listings to the market than are coming off. So that's a gain of like, what's that? Just under 3,000 houses are now, added to the market that didn't come, that volume didn't come off this month. I'm sorry, during that period of time. So yeah, you're going to keep adding inventory. Now you can see it now with active listings, 88,000 units, up 8.4%. That's a huge increase. They don't have any comment there. I wonder what they would say, but that is a big increase, 8.4% year over year. So we just need that to continue to balance the market. The market is, I would much, as a real estate professional, even as an investor, I would rather the market stabilize. I would rather the market stabilize because it's just completely unhealthy. It's unhealthy. And we need more inventory. We just do. Active listings, 812,000. Like we had over 1 million right before the pandemic. I think we had like 1.1 million, which is even low then. So I hear a lot of people say online and on YouTube say, hey, if we get to 800,000 listings or 900,000 listings, we'll be fine. Like that's where price crashes will happen. But we're at 800,000 listings now and prices aren't crashing. So you think another 90,000 listings nationally is going to crash prices? No, it's not. Probably. It could soften them, soften the gain, right? Maybe we, the average gain over the last 20 years is like 6%. So if you can gain it 4 or 5%, I guess that's normal, but we need a lot more listings than 800,000 to be able to, crash the market with prices. Months of supply, 3.3 months of supply. 4 to 5 months of supply is considered balanced. So we are up year over year in months of supply right now, but you'll see that the trend is down. And that is an absorption rate, which is a fact. Basically, it says, hey, how much inventory do we have right now if we didn't add any new listings and we were selling at the current pace we have? How long would that inventory last? The answer, 3.3 months nationally. Not a long time. I mean, when I started in real estate, it was in the 5s. And it was like in the mid 5s, I think. So, that was balanced. Over 6 is a buyer's market. So balance being 4 to 5 months, that's the normal market. And we're not in that. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks, 43%, essentially unchanged. Median days on the market, 39 days, down 1 day compared to last year. Share of homes above list price, 27.6%. Share of homes with the price drop 5.6%. This one throws a lot of people off. Like they look at this number 5.6% and think, oh, people are dropping home prices. So because they're dropping home prices, or because how home price drops are exploding, we should have less prices overall. Prices should be crashing. But you have to remember, this is the share of homes with a price drop. And when there's not a lot of inventory, the inventory that is sitting on the market is already overpriced, or it's luxury inventory, right? Like, if you're in a market where the median price is 500 grand, like in Phoenix, I think the median price is 499. And now you go out and you're looking at homes that are $2 million. Well, the chances of the $2 million home sitting on the market longer, that's a greater chance than a house that's $450,000. So because there's no inventory of affordable homes really, and that's seriously lacking, price drops are they're very common because the share of property on the market is overpriced, could be destroyed, or just luxury type houses way above the median. Average sale to list price ratio, 99%. So sellers, look at this. Look at this number. Sellers are getting 99% of what they're asking for. And next week, I'm closing with clients like 3 different deals, and all of them are at least at asking price. All of them. There's not one that has a discount that I can. No, there's not. I'm just thought, there's all 3 transactions. They're all at the asking price that the seller had listed on the MLS. So 0 discount. A couple of them did get offers below asking, and they declined them, just flat out declined them, or countered back at the asking price. So there's not any discounting going on. And that's why, again, it's not hard to understand if you look at your market, like this 5.6% share of homes with the price drop. People look at that and think median price should come down now. Like people are slashing their prices. They are when the home is overpriced anyway. But when a home actually sells, you can see it's 99% of the asking price, of the list price. All right, metro level highlights. Median sale price. Who had the biggest gains? Where were they? West Palm Beach, it's always on the list. Anaheim seems like it's always on the list. San Jose, Providence, Rhode Island, and Miami, Florida. And you can see here a decline in just one metro. So out of 50 metros that Redfin surveys for this category, only one of them had a decline year over year. Not very many. And San Antonio was the only one with a small drop. San Jose. Okay, so then let's go to pending sales here. And pending is basically when somebody puts a house in contract. San Jose, California, 30.5%. San Francisco, 24.9% increase. Those are massive increases in pending sales. 30%. Wow. Agents are probably happy there. Anaheim, California, 8.8%. Seattle, 6.8%. Milwaukee, 5.2%. Who had drops in pending sales? Atlanta, West Palm Beach, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Lauderdale, all had drops in price or pending sales. Increased in 16 of the 50 metros. Still not a lot. New listings. San Jose, Phoenix, Sacramento, Jacksonville, Austin. Comment below if you know anybody or if you live in one of these markets. Love to know what's going on, if this data makes sense to you. So new listings they've exploded in San Jose. Let's look back up here at the top for a second. Look at this. Pending sales up 30% in San Jose, and now new listings are up 41%. So it looks like they're adding a lot of inventory, but they're also, pending. There's pending sales have exploded too compared to last year. Still a delta there of 11%. So they're definitely adding inventory. Phoenix, Sacramento, we already said this. Jacksonville, Austin. Yeah, if you have an explosion of new listings and it's more than pending sales, theoretically, active listings should go up and prices should, soften or maybe even come down as inventory builds. But again, it has to be the right inventory. It can't be luxury house inventory. It has to be the right inventory. And maybe that's the difference between right now and the great financial crisis. Because I think and wasn't a real estate agent then. I was in the construction business, but not a real estate agent. And the houses that seem like we're getting foreclosed on were like everyday houses, like in suburbs, like medium priced houses. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. So if that's the case, you're not, if you have medium price houses crashing in the great financial crisis, then, and people slashing, prices on those homes, that's going to drive the overall median sale price down because most people are buying normal price houses, not luxury homes. So now that's not happening because there's no affordable inventory. Hence why the median sale price continues to be sticky or goes up. At least that's my theory. All right, new listings are down in Atlanta, Newark, Boston, Chicago, Milwaukee. If new listings are down that much, and you're in that metro, one of these metros, you may still see an explosion of prices. All right, let's look at these charts. Median sale price up 4.7% year over year. Yeah. And a lot of people wanted this graph to go down, right, and cut underneath these other years, but it's not. It may, right? We may continue to slide this way and cut through them, but right now it's still going up. It still is. It'd be insane if we hit an all-time high at some point this year. And it looks like that peak normally happens in late July, early August. And that's because the sales numbers are being reported from people putting houses in contract, probably like late May, right? 30, 45 days to close. So then it's reported in Redfin late July. That makes sense. Just how long it takes to close. Median asking price, it's flat from last report, but it's still way up compared to last year. And people are just, they don't see a reason to discount the prices because they're getting 99% of what they're listing for the house. So why would you discount a price if you're a real estate agent or a seller? Why would you go in and discount the price? You're not going to. You're going to keep pace with median sale price because it keeps going up, and people are getting what they want for houses, generally speaking. Home buyer housing payments. We know those are insane. They're up. This could be the new normal. People don't want to hear that. They want to say, hey, no, it's not the new normal. Things are going to get much better. They could, but if rates drop, it's going to get worse, not better. So the only thing that could make it better is more supply. And this could be like years before. I heard somebody tell him, there's a guy I follow on YouTube. You should check him out too. Michael Zuber, One Rental at a Time. Excellent channel for learning how to be an investor in real estate. Excellent information. And that channel certainly helped me over the last few years. And they had some people on recently that said that it would be maybe a decade before the housing market resets to normal levels. And that's obviously depressing, but we need more inventory. Pending sales, 3% down year over year overall. Yep, they are. Now they're kind of touching 2023. So it'll be interesting to see if the pending sales increase because we have more listings. But I would look for this to go up over the next month or so. I would think it would. New listings are down from last report, but they are up from last year. I mean, look at new listings back in 2021 and 2022. Look at this. I mean, right at this time, back then we had, what's this? In that time period, we had 100,000 in that 4-week time period. And now we've got 88,000. So it'd be nice to hit 100,000, right? That'll help. That'll help our inventory. Active listings, it's kind of going sideways now, unfortunately. They look for this to go up. It's going to have to go up quickly to eclipse 2022. It's already over 2023. But again, just need more listings. That's really what it comes down to. 3.3 months of supply available on the market. It's up compared to all the other years, but it's not very impressive. It's still considered a seller's market. You know how they have like bull markets and bear markets, indicators with the stock market. Right now, it's a seller's market. It is a bull market. I guess you could call that, I suppose, a seller's market. 43% of pending sales under contract within 2 weeks. So it's not, it seems like that's high, but it's not compared to 2022 and 2021, right? It's a little higher than last year, but it's not anywhere close to the frenzy we had in the previous years in 2021 and 22. Not even close. Homes sold in a median of 39 days. So houses are taking a little longer to sell than 22 and 21, but little less time than last year. They're moving quicker. 28% of homes sold above final list price, which is more than last year. But look at this in 2022. I mean, you were near 50% in 2022, right? Homes sold above list price. It's crazy. I mean, think about that for a second. It's easy to forget how crazy that was. 50% of homes, like half of homes that were selling above final list price. Wow. Good thing that's changed. And that's no fun as a buyer. It's actually, in a way, no fun as a seller. I mean, it's nice getting multiple offers and getting more than you ask for the house. I suppose that's okay. But it's just, it feels toxic. It does. It feels like it's out of control when that happens. And as a buyer, as somebody representing a buyer, and as somebody who bought investment properties during this time, it was defeating, because you knew you had to go higher than asking, which I never did on investments, by the way, but people did on their primary home. And it was definitely a struggle to get your offer accepted. And comment below. I'd love to know what you think. Or if you experienced this, did you buy during that time period, or know somebody who bought and paid like way over asking, ridiculous amounts over asking? And maybe now they regret it, right? Maybe they don't. I don't know. 5.6% of listings. Hey, hang on a second. Yep. 5.6% of listings had price drops. So that's people think that's a big deal, but it's really not. It's just more bad inventory is how I look at it. Average home sold for 99% above final list price. That seems like a lot, but look at 22, 101.5, which isn't, there's only 2.5% larger or more, but we're talking about incremental gains when you look at the sale to list price ratio. So a swing of 1.5 or 2 points is actually big, but we're at 99% now. I think historically it's like 98 or 97 or 98%. I think historically over the last decade or so. So it's higher, but it's not, it's not over 100%. And here's the home buyer demand index. I don't know. I don't really like this category. I think it's strange because it's their own proprietary thing, but they put together home tours and Google searches for homes and all that other jazz. And then they put it into a algorithm and say, all right, well, we have less demand than we did last year. Okay, understood. Rates are high and then there's no inventory. So, and it's an election year. So I guess, demand overall is lower, but thank goodness it's lower, because if demand was higher right now, man, we'd be in trouble. We would be in trouble, no doubt. All right. So now we're going to go to the local market. I encourage you to go here and do this and look at the local market, because you can look at about anything you want, any metro you want. So here I have I'm in the data center part of Redfin, and I can go to the county level or I can go to a metro level. So I'm doing a metro level, and then I'm going to go to Columbus. So I can type in Columbus and select my metro level. So Columbus Metro is basically like the surrounding counties of Franklin County, where Columbus is. and it's based on the Columbus Board of Realtor data is where they get this information from the MLS. So let's start with, let's do new listings. So new listings here in Columbus, down from last report. It's down slightly year over year. So Columbus probably had like the perfect storm. They're having the perfect storm of the housing market, where rates were really low, prices shot up nationally, but definitely in Columbus, we have affordable housing, or had affordable housing. The median price, what you'll see in a second, is, just over $300,000. So it's still affordable. It's a great place to live, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a great place. And there is an explosion of development. So Intel just broke ground. Well, it's not just, been 2 years now. They broke ground, and I just did a video. You should check it out on my channel about the Intel project. But it's a 1,000-acre project right now, and it's going to maybe expand to 3,500 acres. And it's going to be the largest microchip processing plant that Intel's ever built, they say. So huge facility and a ton of workers. And this is happening about 10 minutes from where I am right now. And it's like a cornfield that now is literally, like, I remember driving through that area for years. I grew up in this area, and cornfield after cornfield. Now it's this mega plant, mega development from Intel. And with that is going to come all the other support functions that would support an Intel plant, construction workers and permanent workers, and, all the technology that goes into making the microchips has to be supported from other vendors and other manufacturers. And that's all coming to Columbus too. So new listings are down year over year. Nationally, they're up year over year. So Columbus is like going the different direction than the national numbers. It's scary. It's definitely scary. A perfect storm of bad housing news from a buyer standpoint. All right, so new listings. Let's go to median sale price real quick. Oh, no, let's do active listings. Active listings. So active listings right now, we are up 3.81%. Nationally, we're up, 8.9, 8.5, something like that. So Columbus, again, is different than the country because, and real estate obviously is hyper local, down to sometimes a zip code, school district, or even street sometimes, right? One street's great, next street's not. A lot of people talk about subdivisions, but subdivisions, like, you have to really dial in not just the subdivision, but sometimes a school district, because not all housing markets have new inventory. A lot of the inventory here in Central Ohio is older, 1900, 1920, 1950 inventory. There isn't a lot of new construction. There's just not. And there hasn't been traditionally. Not a lot of new builds. So active listings are up, but they're struggling, and they're not going the right direction. Now let's look at median sale price. Unfortunate news. $331,000, up 5% year over year. And the peak was here about 341. We hit it twice, according to Redfin. Hit it in June, in July of last year. Certainly hope we don't hit that this year, but it looks like it will. And I predict house prices in Columbus here could actually go up double digits this year. I think at least you're at the 5 to 8% mark, and you're probably going to go double digits because there's just nothing, no affordable houses. And if you, it's unbelievable. You go to the Intel project, and it's just, you drive like down these country roads where people have lived at these houses for generations, probably farmers, little tiny country houses. They're all on septic and wells. There's no housing developments. There's no large sprawling subdivisions. And you have to drive like 30 miles to find any real inventory. And even there's not a lot. So it's I don't know what they're going to do. It's definitely scary. All right, let's look at homes sold. No, we'll do pending sales first. So pending sales, 2.9% increase year over year. Okay, so people are buying more houses now because there's more inventory or a little bit more. So I guess that's good. Homes sold, actually, when a home closes, that's going up. And I think as pending sales maybe tick up a little bit, homes sold will go up as well. But that all depends on the active inventory. It really does. That's what's holding everybody back here. It's not prices necessarily, it's inventory. Because if there was just more affordable inventory, I think prices would maybe moderate a little bit. But even if they're elevated, if there's more to choose from, I think more people would be buying. And I don't know about other agents, but I am busy. So I am personally am busy as an agent. Um, there are people looking for houses, selling houses, investors. I'm looking at several deals right now that are apartment complexes, looking at some land to buy. I'm flipping a house right now. Um, yeah, it's active. It's active as ever. It's just a little different because it is slower than the frenzy back in the last couple of years. All right, so this is Columbus. Again, you come here anytime you want. Look at this data for your metro. I'm going to do Cleveland now because somebody asked about Cleveland. So I got to help them out and do some Cleveland data. And I haven't looked at this before, so let's find out what's happening in Cleveland. I wonder how their quarterback situation is. Not good. All right, let's do new listings. Cleveland. Like Columbus, look at that. Down 0.4%. New listings. That's not good. Active listings. Wow. Look at that. Active listings in Cleveland down 6.35% from last year. Man, that's going straight down. Unbelievable. I didn't expect that. People like Cleveland. I mean, it's affordable, that's for sure. Let's look at median sale price. $206,000, up 6% year over year, similar to Columbus, right? As far as increase goes. Definitely lower in price. Maybe that's why, the active inventory is so low because people are like, shoot, man, I buy a house, median sale price, $206,000. That's great. There's affordable housing out there. Fantastic. Well, the median price is affordable, I suppose, but there's not a lot of inventory as we just saw. Let's look at months of supply. Boy, this is a goofy chart. Look at this. Let me take out 22 and 21. Yeah. Okay. So down 0.2. I guess that's 0.2 weeks of supply. It's down. So 8.4 weeks of supply is like what's that? About 2 months of supply. Anything under 2 months of supply is called, if in my book, it's called a strong seller's market, not just a seller's market, but a strong seller's market where sellers are in control 100%. They basically get what they want for houses. So let's look at, let's see if we can find, um, I'm looking for, okay, let's look at age. Let's do median days on market. Yeah, look at this. Median days on market down 3 days compared to last year. 26.8 means the median, all the houses on the market right now, line them up, put the one in the middle, pick the one in the middle, down 3 days. So only 26 days on the market, the median home. Man, they're just being sold. So let's see oh, there's Isaac. He's on right now. Thanks for the video and info. Let's see. Let's see what Isaac has to say. This is the guy that asked about Cleveland. I think this will just eliminate the need for a buyer agent. Oh, he's talking about the real estate stuff. As it is today, more of a consultant, not someone that goes to visit homes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. Um, the problem with that is that like all kinds of things can go wrong in a buying process. So because of client privileges, I'm not going to name any details exactly, but I will tell you in the past, I guess I could use an example that happened a few years ago. Um, things happen while a property's in contract, right? So if you go make an offer and then you're negotiating and you get the offer accepted and now you're going through the closing process, you have your inspection, let's say that goes well on a house. But then, between the inspection and when you close, let's pretend there's a storm and the storm comes through the area where you're buying your house and water gets into the living room or something, right? Now that home is not the home you were going to buy, right? It's different. And so someone has to figure out, all right, who's paying for what? How's this going to work? How are we going to close? What's the buyer responsibility? What's the seller responsibility? And most buyers don't have the experience or the knowledge to be able to navigate that process. So I think that's where agents come in and they can really help buyers, not just finding a home or showing a house. That's easy. But when, I guess the crap hits the fan, who's there to navigate and make sure that the buyer client gets what they want and um, gets what they deserve. And I think that's the part that's really where, to me, buyer agents make their money is because you can't predict when accidents are going to happen. And they do. I mean, I've had clients and I've had houses where I'm in contract and they get broken into, right? Or there's a squatter during the actual contract process. Somebody has to figure that out. So yeah, it could just be a consultant, but I mean, marketing and running your own company, running your agency is expensive. So I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of agents that do it for peanuts. And if they do it for peanuts, you're not going to get a lot of representation. But valid point, Isaac, valid point. Oh, look at this. We're talking about Cleveland. This individual, Mamet, love Cleveland. ROI is great. Must be, I'm guessing, an investor. Mamet, are you an investor in Cleveland? If you are, congratulations. That's great. I'd love to know what type of assets you own. Coors Light. How you doing there, Coors Light? Here in California. Oh, they're in California. 300K will get you a fixer-upper condo. I didn't know they were that cheap. I thought they would be like $900,000 or something. Yeah, I'm sure. Honestly, I didn't know you could even buy a condo in California for 300,000. Where in California? I'm curious. Yeah, prices there are nuts, right? So I remember I actually used to live in California. I used to live in Irvine and didn't own any houses out there, but we left California and moved to Ohio, back to Ohio where we grew up, right around 2000 and I guess 9 or so. And so the prices there in California were just insane. And were going to buy a condo or look at a condo that they were like 600,000 or 700,000 for these condos in Irvine. And we decided, you know what, let's hold off. And we decided to wait and move to Ohio and look. And we ended up buying a house at like 150 grand. So I feel like that helped a lot, helped our financial situation a lot. And I feel for people in California. It's nuts. It's nuts. And I'm sure insurance there is expensive and taxes are expensive. I don't know how investors do it. I don't know how they make it work. It's a skill set I don't know that I possess right now to be able to find a deal there and make something cash flow. You can't buy an investment property if it doesn't cash flow. And so I've looked at some deals out there. I can't get anything to cash flow. Even with low rates, I can't get anything to cash flow. Oh, okay. Mamet's saying, hey, he wasn't, maybe they were an investor or something, wasn't an investor. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Cleveland, back to Cleveland here. It seems like it's a great market maybe to invest in because people do need rentals, affordable rentals, by the way. And that doesn't seem like it changes with the economy. Like in Ohio, if you can supply an apartment for someone in like the $700, $900 range. That's a quality apartment, quality unit for somebody to live in that's clean, and has been upgraded maybe a little bit and works and functions, and the heat works right and the electric is not is safe and all that. Uh, I think there will always be a need for that. And so, by the way, if you want to get into real estate investing, I'm going to do some videos coming up about how I do it and some techniques I use to find deals. Um, but I like workforce housing. I like housing that is for the average person because I feel like that's always going to be a need. And if we get a flood of inventory from people selling their houses, people are going to need houses to live in. And, they're going to need something to live in. And so if you have rentals, that always helps. Back to the agency stuff. Isaac says, I agree there are values to having a buyer agent on your side. Yeah, thanks. I would think so, right? There are. Not every agent's good by no means, and not every buyer needs an agent. You don't have to have an agent, but there's things that can happen during the process that can be a problem. Again, I think the difference is going to be buyers in some situations, well, in all situations, are going to have to sign something saying they agree to pay the buyer agent before they even look at a house. And I guess that's one of the things I don't like about the NAR rules that are coming, because there are a lot of tire kickers that, well, they start off as tire kickers, but then they eventually aren't tire kickers, right? So I have people call me all the time saying, hey, Jason, I don't have an agent. I want to look at this property. I'm not ready to buy yet, but I just want to kick the tires. And I develop a lot of relationships that way. And a lot of times I'll show them a house just to get to know them. Like, it's like an appointment, right? You're like, hey, I'll show you this house, walk around, talk about the fixtures and the stainless steel appliances. And by the way, let me just take this off. And by the way, you know, let's talk about what you want to do with looking for a house. What are your goals? And it's kind of like a first appointment. I don't know if all agents do that or if that's the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. But those days are gone in July. Somebody's not going to have to, they're going to call me and say, hey, Jason, I want to look at a house. And I'm going to go, okay, you got to sign a buyer agreement now. And there's a lot of people that won't sign a buyer agreement because they're like, I don't want to commit to anything on a Saturday morning. I just want to look at a house. Okay. Now I can do that moving forward. Can't do it. So buyers are going to have to make that commitment up front. And they're in that commitment is going to be, I'm paying Jason whatever fee if we close. And the really scary thing is somebody could inadvertently, if they're running into unscrupulous agents, they could easily sign more than one buyer agreement, I would think, right? Like sign a buyer agreement with me, and then they wake up on Sunday morning and say, I'm going to go see another house. And then they don't know what they're doing and they don't read the fine print and the agent doesn't explain anything to them. And they end up signing another buyer agreement. So now they owe two buyer agents because the agreement probably will say something to the effect of, if you close on a property, you owe me money and you're underneath this buyer agreement. So now you owe two agents money, and that's not going to help at all. So I don't think buyers won in this situation at all. And sellers really didn't win either. People may think that sellers won because now they can negotiate the rate, but that's always happened. That's always been negotiable. And I have people negotiate with me all the time on the listing price or the listing fee and rate. So I don't know. It's just more red tape really, but it's just more for buyers and sellers to deal with. So anyway, it's not here yet, but it will be. Okay, let's find out what Mamet said. Yep, sold everything, moved to Cali, planning to come back, looking for multifamily properties. Okay. Well, do me a favor. You can contact me on Instagram, or you can send me you can actually look at my contact information is in the description below, usually on these videos. I don't think I've added it on this one yet, but I will. But reach out if you want to, because I run across deals in Cleveland. I don't invest in Cleveland, not because I don't like Cleveland, just because I'm not there. I like to invest in areas close to me. But you can reach out to me, Met, and I'll help you if I can try to find something or hook you up with somebody who has properties up there, because I do get deals in Cleveland to look at. That's just not my area to invest in. I don't know much about the market. So I'm happy to help if I can. Great. Well, hey, that's my live video today on Redfin. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. I put a ton of effort into these videos and a ton of time into my, the normal videos I put out. And I'm just a small town like investor, small town realtor, ground level type information, not sophisticated, don't have a big company or big team behind me. It's really just my wife and I who do the investing. And yeah, this is like Anytown USA real estate, I guess, right? This is what you see. So I appreciate all the input and everything you guys have contributed today. And thank you for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you next week, next Thursday or Friday on the Redfin weekly update. Have a good Saturday and a good rest of the weekend. See ya.